thank you for tuning in today. We're going to pick up where we left off on one of our shows recently when we were talking about marriage and priorities in marriage. In that episode, we talked about God, family, church, and community. And today we're going to continue down that road. So you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
After church and community, extended family, and special friends. And we already talked about that some, is that your family and friends should not dictate your household. Your family and friends don't take precedence over your children and over your spouse and over your relationship with God. You don't allow your friends to just consume up your time and take you away from the responsibilities you have. And I have friends, I love to spend time with my friends, but I also have to realize, okay, wait a minute, I'm married, I have children. Some of them may not have children. You know, some of your friends may not even be married. So you want to govern yourselves in those areas to make sure that your family members and your friends have a place in your life, but they don't take precedence over your spouse and over your children.
And part of what dealing with the rich young ruler in Matthew 19:19, it says, honor your father and your mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So, you know, that is the order of God, to honor your mother and father and to, you know, honor even your family and your neighbors. That's the order of God. But it gets out of order when we start allowing them to take priority over these other areas of our life. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and next we have work and career choices. And most people, when they get married, they have chosen their career already. So once you do marry someone, you want to be able to work with that person as far as their career is concerned. You don't want the career to be the first thing. A lot of people, their career is number one. So therefore, everything else takes a backseat to their career. They travel all the time, or they entertain, or whatever the case may be. And therefore, the work consumes the whole household. It consumes the spouse, consumes the children, consumes everything. It's all about their career. And that's out of balance. And a lot of times people look at sports stars and they look at people in Hollywood and actors and actresses. A lot of those people live miserable lives. We all look at the glam and we all look at the bling and at the money, but I've heard many of them say, I've listened to Shaka Khan, they did an interview with her, and they talked about all the fame and all the Grammys and all the stuff she won, and they asked her, you know, about her career. And she sat there and she bowed her head and she shook her head. She said, I missed out on my kids growing up. Yeah, you know, all the Grammys, all that stuff was nice and, you know, all the fame. But thank God for my mother, because my mother took care of my kids. And because of that, her relationship with her children was broken and still fragmented today because she was not there. That's a person who their career and their job and their way of earning money consume their whole life. So we want to keep that in balance also.
Because we know that we have to work and we have to do these things to be able to feed and, you know, house and take care of our family. But again, you got to remember, children, they don't understand that.
No.
They don't understand that. They don't understand bills and all those things. All they understand is, I had a game and you're not there. That's all they understand. And yes, it's okay that you're not there sometimes, but to never be there, because what they do, and I talk to them, one of the things I'm writing a book, Should I Call Him Daddy? And I've interviewed a lot of men, and what a lot of these men, as they poured their hearts out to me, talked about, and some of them they didn't have fathers or they had stepfathers, and they talked about that. They talked about not having a father there. And one of the things in one of the chapters is called Fantasy Dad. Because when dad is not there, fantasy dad is good at everything. Fantasy dad has all the money. You know, fantasy dad, if fantasy dad was there, I'd be a better football player because they'd show me. And then they would also talk to me about how they would go over their friends' houses that had a dad there and how they would be jealous of that because their dad was there with them. And they would be jealous because, man, I don't have a father, or my father's not involved with my life. I wish I could be like. You know, and even when, made me think, even where we were at, where one place we used to live, because we were always a family that dinner time, we called our kids in, you know what I mean, and we sat around the table, because that's where a lot of your dialogue happens, is sitting at the dinner table. So we always had dinner together. No matter if they was playing ball or whatever. Now, sometimes our kids would get mad because, oh, this one here, they get to stay out and they don't have to come in. See, but later as they got older, then those same children shared with our kids, I wish our family was like yours. You know? So now, you know, as they got older, they're thinking that these kids had it made because they had no structure. But then those kids, as they got older, they shared how jealous they were because they had structure. Because kids love to come hang out at our house because our house was a place of fun. Our kids want to have families, you know, and we got grandchildren that now. They want to do that. They want to be married because growing up was fun. You know, growing up was fun. I got a 7-month-old grandson that's with us because military and that, they're gone. But my son, the other day when I was talking to him, I can't wait until you get 5, Dad, so we can do like you did with us, to go out and, you know, play ball. Well, they want to have family because family was fun, and they're looking forward to that. Some people walk away and they go, I never want to have any children because family wasn't fun. Family was a place where fighting went on and no one got along and there was all bickering and all those kind of things, and they go, I don't want a family. But if your family is a healthy place and a fun place, and they did the normal kind of things that children did and got in trouble and all that, you know, they did those things, but they look back and they want to have families because they see themselves being the coach. You know, so, and that's really what it's about, okay? So that work and career and these blended families, that's a tough thing. And part of what we do at Spirit of Faith, we're part of the premarital counseling. So that's a big part of that premarital counseling is how are you going to make this transition? How are you going to make this shift in your mindset? How are you going to make the shift that, wow, I've been working 55 hours a week. Now I'm getting ready to have a husband who is going to expect me to take on a role of, you know, being home to, you know, maybe do dinner. And I'm not saying just the women do dinner, depends on who the cook is. But you know what I mean? You got to start going through a mental change. And are you going to decide that that family is such a priority, that that spouse is such a priority, and the children and all those things are such a priority that you're willing to make sometimes some really big sacrifices in order to make sure things are in order according to God's plan, okay? And the last one?
The last one is hobbies and interests. And of course, I'm not going to dwell on that so we can move on. But of course, you know that you can't go and spend all your money on your hobbies and your household is not taken care of. Or your spouse can't have what they want to have because everything goes to your hobbies. And there are a lot of families that way. Either the husband or the wife has gotten consumed in some type of interest or some type of sport or some type of hobby that all their money and all their energy and all their time is devoted to that. They love golf, so the wife can never plan anything because that's what they're going to do for fun. I'm playing golf and that's it. Well, we want to go to amusement park. Well, you can go, I'm playing golf, you know, or the wife, you know, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to shop for art, you know. Well, you and the kids can go to amusement park. I'm going to shop for art. No, you have to keep these priorities in order. And put everything in balance.
Now, one of the things dealing with that, so the priorities were God, spouse, children, church, extended family, work and career, hobbies, and other interests. Now, the big thing about this is that you can put anything down as your priorities, but how are you going to prove your priorities? See, it's not about what you say your priorities are, because when we look at those two charts there, my priorities, my spouse's priorities, and what I believe my spouse's priorities should be, when you put down your priorities and your spouse puts some down and they're different, and you're going to say those are my priorities, and the spouse is going to start naming off why they think those things are your priority, because that's where your time and effort is. That's what they're going to use to determine. Your time determines your priorities. So you can think all you want in your head that your priorities are straight, but when someone starts telling you, oh no, my priorities are straight, God and, those things are all straight. And when they start telling you, oh, is that right? So you work 10 hours a day, and then you make sure you go to your bowling night and you do this and that, but you're telling me this, but I'm going to show you how your time divides up. Okay? Now, if I want to know what your priorities are, all I got to do is follow you around for a week. If I follow you around for a week, I'll know what your priorities are, and you just do your normal thing that you do, I'll know what your priorities are, So I challenge you that whatever you believe your priorities are, that you make a conscious effort as you go through next week to think, let me think about, what am I doing? Where is my time? Where is my time going? Not what I think my priorities are, but where am I actually spending my time, my quality time? Where am I spending it? And one of the things in proving your priorities is it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take sacrifice of doing some things that you don't necessarily want to do. It's going to take sacrifice of saying, I can't do that for someone or with someone, because you got to be there to make sure the sacrifice you make is making sure that your spouse or whatever the order is and your children, they know that they are the priority. One of the things that happens with us, and we'll look at some of these things later, is that one of the things that a sacrifice your wife or spouse or husband will know you're making a sacrifice is when you're willing to do things with them they know you don't like. I'm into sports. She's not into sports, just been around me so long. But if I want to go to a baseball game, even though she doesn't like baseball, she'll go to the baseball game. But so many times, what will happen is wife go, I don't like that, therefore it's not important. Oh, remember, it's not all about you. It's not all about you. It's about saying, if that is something that is important to you, I'm going to make a sacrifice, and I'm going to do it because it's important to you. And I want you to know that things that are important to you are also important to me. If you're a woman and you like to go shopping or whatever, and some men, they hate to shop. Because men, the way we shop, if I need a white shirt, 16.5, 34, 35, and I go to a store, I'm going to walk back where the shirts are, 16.5, 34, 35, I'm going to get a white shirt, I'm going to go pay for it, and I'm going to leave and go on and do something else. If a woman needs a blouse, she's going to go into that store. She's going to go where the blouses are. She's going to look at the blouses, but she's going to have to go to several other stores to see if maybe there's another blouse or could get a better deal with the blouse, and then 2 hours later come back and buy the first blouse they looked at. So that kind of... So a man is thinking, we were already here. Why didn't you just buy the blouse while you were here, right? See, but it's not about... It's that whole emotional and relationship thing that's going on with them. So I go and hey, I'll just, I'll find me somewhere to sit, or whatever. Or sleep, See, because it's about being with her. It's about being with her. Okay, if we're in the mall, I'm with her. Then we can go sit in the food court and have a little lunch or whatever. But we were together. That's how you become friends. Because you just hanging out. You're together. It doesn't have to be always one. See, selfishness always is about, your priority in selfishness is you. You want the whole world to revolve around what you want. You know, that's what selfish people do. It's all about me.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Boy, you're getting set up. You're setting yourself up. So sacrifice.
Have you checked time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got about another 10 minutes. And more. So sacrifice. They talk about, blood, and people talk about this, and even in these priorities. Well, that's my mama, and blood is thicker than water. You know, well, really, it's not blood is thicker than water. It's really spirit is thicker. The spirit connection that we have made, that covenant relationship, is more important than our blood relationship. Who is your brother? You know, who is your mother? Who is your father? This covenant relationship is the most important relationship we have. Time. I talked about that. Commodity of relationship is dealing with your time. Where are you spending your time? Okay? Quality time. Dedicated quality time. Because if you just, what do you mean I'm never home? I'm home. Yeah, you're home, but you come in, you eat, you get in your easy chair, go to sleep, watch TV, then you get up out of your easy chair and go to bed and watch TV until you fall to sleep. There's a difference in actually just being around and being engaged. You know, quality time is you're actually engaged in the household and in the relationship. And one of the things we have to watch in life is to make sure when it comes to career is being able to leave your career at work. When you leave work, I call it be here now. When you're at work, you have to be there, being a professional, doing what you're called to do, doing what you're paid to do, doing it to the best of your ability. But when you leave there, you got to leave that there. And when you walk into your house, I have to be here now. Now I'm in my family. Some people, check yourself, some people cannot have a conversation unless it's about work. All their conversation is about work. What happened at work? What did whoever do? Yada, yada, yada. And then we say, we never communicate as a husband and wife. I talk to you all the time. Yeah, but you talk about work and the people at work. I don't really care to hear about the people at work. When are we going to talk about us? When are you going to ask me how I'm doing, what I'm doing, what I want to do? Family meeting to plan our vacation. You know what I mean? To talk about our goals. What does God want us to do? And how are we going to carry that out? What God wants us to do. If you're a person that need to talk about work, then even in family, okay, we come home, okay. So you got 5 minutes to talk about work and get it out of you, and then, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And a lot of times it's hard to come in the house and just get engaged. Okay, again, that's things you agree on. I understand when you get home, you've been working all day, you've been busy all day. Well, you go up to the cave, the bedroom, the wherever, and as you change and you take your 10, 15 minutes, your 30 minutes to do what you got to do to get your faculties. But when you come out of there, you need to be engaged in what's going on in this household. I'll give you your space. Because that's bad too. You don't want to walk in and somebody, boom, just, jump on you with everything and all this stuff. You're like, hold on, I'm trying to get my head straight. Okay, well, let's negotiate that when you come home, you'll get 30 minutes or whatever you negotiate to get so you can wind down and change your clothes and we'll just talk about how was your day and that type of thing. Then now let's talk about what was going on with the children or get into their homework or whatever. Maybe doing, but let's just have some wind down time and time we'll spend talking about just us and how was your day, and what happened, and okay, that's cool, and all right, now let's be here. Let's be here in this family. Let's be here in this marriage. Okay? Because, man alive, some people are like, I'm not inviting them over. All they're going to do is talk about work. We got one guy, he doesn't get invited to parties at our house because all he wants to do is talk politics. And when you don't agree with him, he gets mad. So I don't invite him to my house. You see, I don't want that. You know what I mean? When I got people, we want to just socialize and have fun. Let's, we play board games and you know what I mean? Just stuff like that, just fun. We just want to, just have fun. Nothing, that deep. Let's go from Redskins to Dallas fans to, having some good interchange about, about that. And, So that's the kind of stuff we like to do, but we can do that friendly and, you know what I mean? Not get all mad. He got so mad at me the other day over politics, Whatever. God is my source. I don't care if a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or whoever in the White House. I'm going to trust God anyway. You know what I mean? So, whatever. You know what I mean? So that's important. So we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we're going to ask you if you have any questions. And so we talked about that. Relationship. You must give dedicated quality time. Energy. Give up energy to meet each other's needs. Shouldn't have to drag you along. I'm going, but everybody going to know I hate it. You know what I mean? I'm going, okay, I'm going to go to this party with you or whatever at work. And then, what's wrong with your wife? Nothing. She sure looked like something wrong with her. Okay. Establish discipline and traditions. Let's talk about that one, then we'll be done.
Okay. So you want to take time to invest in your marriage. Date nights, whatever you can come up with to invest in your marriage. So many people invest in all these different things. They put most of their money in remodeling their home, or they'll put a lot of money in collecting cars, or whatever you like to do. But what about investing in your marriage? We talked about investing time, but also invest money in your marriage. Go to some seminars, go to some conferences, go to some of these things to maintenance your marriage. Your date nights, and it doesn't always have to, if you don't have the money, then there's still a lot of things that you can do just to be with one another, just to spend time together.
So a good date night is not always about a bunch of money. A good date night can be go to the harbor, go to the whatever coffee place they get, and just go out and just walk around the property and just be with each other.
Mm-hmm. Or play a game together. Invest in your marriage. I'm going to beat you tonight at cards. No, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. Do a puzzle together.
A puzzle is a good thing. I would suggest that. Do a puzzle together.
Just the two of you. Do a puzzle together. Kids are going to come in and interrupt, of course, and try to put pieces in and all that, and that's fine. But they're going to see, Mom and Dad been working this puzzle. And it does something in the relationship when you do things together. It really builds that relationship. So you can take a walk in the park, take a trip on the metro, or whatever the case may be. But invest in your marriage.
A lot of people, she mentioned, a lot of people live here in Washington, D.C., and they think, oh, man, there's nothing to do. You're in Washington, D.C., and there's nothing to do. You know what I mean?
There's always something to do.
All these festivals going on and all these things that cost you absolutely nothing. Instead of going to the same old restaurant, sometimes we'll catch the metro and go down to Chinatown and just walk around downtown D.C. and go in but just time together. When we leave here, date night, we're going downtown. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing because, hey, that's what we're going to do. Okay.
So make your own traditions. Make your own, do something different. And make it a tradition. Make it a set. You might want to pull your calendar out, and we're going to talk about that now, even in your family meetings. Pull your calendar out and put down, we're going date night here, date night here, date night here. Make arrangements in advance for the kids make arrangements to get off work early, whatever you need to do to make those times happen. And in the family meetings, you're going to be able to really come together. It'll develop your communication so much so to the point that you don't have to have all the arguments. You don't have to have all the big blow-ups, because a lot of the issues that we argue and blow up about could be addressed in advance. We don't have to wait until December 24th and fight about whether we're going to your mother or my mother for Christmas dinner. You knew Christmas was coming a year before. You know Christmas is coming every year. So why not sit down in your family meeting and talk about it? Okay, we're going to do this for Thanksgiving. We're going to do this for Christmas. We're going to go here for vacation. We're going to paint the room blue. We're going to paint it green. Not somebody come in and, you painted the room blue, and then that's a big fight. So family meetings are for you to be able to plan, to be able to discuss issues, to be able to pinpoint problems in advance, and be able to work on solving the problems. We include the kids in the family meeting also.
That's important, include the kids. I don't care what age they are, they live in your house. They can come in, because if they have issues or whatever. You know, my kids will come and tell me that something's broken.
The doorknob is broke.
The doorknob is broke.
They don't have much
fine.
to say, but that's their part. You know, I need my doorknob fixed.
I need my doorknob fixed, or, you know what I mean? I want to paint my room, whatever. But give them a voice to be able to come to the table and talk about whatever they want to talk about.
And definitely talk about money in your family meeting.
Yeah.
Because we know a lot of people divorce because of money. So you want to make sure you incorporate all of these things in family meetings. And you're going to hear us talk about family meetings over and over and over again. Every time you see us in this type of setting, we're going to talk about family meetings, because that's how important they are. It helps us to avoid a whole lot of junk that you don't have to go through, a whole lot of drama you don't have to go through if you plan.
Well, we know that you've enjoyed watching this show and looking at the priorities that we should have in our life and in our marriage. And I think if we apply these to our relationships, not only in marriage, but as for those that are leading up to marriage, that it will make your relationship healthy for many, many years. We'll be celebrating 27 years this year, so we've been applying these things, and they've been working in our lives, and we're sure if you do it, that they'll work for you also. So you feel free to give us a call or contact us via email if you want to get a copy of the first show and this show so that you can watch the two together. That would be a great thing for you and your spouse to sit down and do. So once again, we thank you for tuning in to Family Matters, and as always, it is our desire that you would continue to have a family of love, joy, and peace. Until next time, you have a great day.
A family of love.